Hello, welcome to my latest video, and today I'm at Liverpool John Lennon Airport, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for you because we're going to have a walkthrough to show you exactly what to expect if you're flying away from here, what you need to do to make your trip start as stress-free, as easily as possible. So let's get inside. But before we do, getting to Liverpool John Lennon Airport in the first place is pretty straightforward. If you're coming by public transport, there are regular bus services from Liverpool City Centre and also from Liverpool South Parkway. That's the train station, so a great option if you're arriving by rail. Driving, well, you've got a few options. You can book airport parking online, and as always, there's a top cashback referral link down in the description below. It's a great way of saving money when you spend online. You get something, I get something, all the details are below. If you're getting dropped off, follow the signs as you approach. If you go left, it's the express drop-off. That's a paid for option, but it drops you right outside the terminal. Or if you go to the right, there's the free drop-off. It's a few minutes walk away, but it does save you a couple of quid. Simple as that. Now let's head inside, and to help me with this walkthrough is Liverpool Airport's head of PR, Robin Tudor. So how are things going, Robin?
Yeah, very good. I mean, we've spent a lot of time and effort over the winter getting the terminal ready for the start of the summer season, really, knowing that we're going to have more passengers coming through this year on more flights, and you know, now that summer's kind of underway, yeah, it's good. It's good, and passengers are enjoying the airport experience as we like to see.
We've known each other for more years than I'm going to actually think about, to be honest, Robin, but it's been good to see how the airport has continued to grow. This video is all about making sure that almost help us help you, really, of
absolutely
passengers who are coming in. So
that's what it's all about.
Check-in desks, fairly, you know, simple. Find yours, find it on the screen, you can go. Now the bit I'll point out, because the bit I found took a bit to find out, was when we got here, was if you're travelling with things like pushchairs or car seats, things like that, it's down the far end to the right, just past the Jet 2 next to Starbucks is probably the easiest way to describe it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where the toilets are as well, this side.
And you're right, if you've got things like, you know, prams and booster seats, or during winter it's people sometimes with skis, or sometimes people see people with mountain bikes, you've still got to go to check-in first, because if that item's going to be going in the hold, you've got to get it tagged so that we know what flight is going to be going on. But then, as you say, yeah, you will take that to what's called the out of gauge, as we call it, but it's the area for large baggage items that can't go on the normal carousel effectively. And yeah, that's just at the end of the check-in area.
If you have checked in, you don't need to do any of that. You just come in, turn left and head for the big sign that says departures.
That's right, couldn't be easier.
So Robin, we've come up those big stairs, down the little corridor, and we're at now the point where it's getting real, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Passengers only.
Yes. What are the bits that, for yourselves with the airport, would be helpful people start thinking about here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the next kind of port of call, if you need to check in, that's first, but then after that, it's to get through to the departure lounge and to be processed. I hate that word, but go through security, to be processed through security. First stop is the boarding card scan. So this basically checks that only passengers can go beyond this point. So you've got to have a valid boarding card, and that for most people these days is on their phone, of course, or it might be a paper copy, and we can scan those here as well. So it's just about making sure you've got your phone handy. If you as an individual might have all your boarding cards on the one phone, then you just got to think about, don't just walk off as soon as you've gone through, because you've got, you know, the rest of your party you're going to have to hand the phone back to rescan it. So there's little things like that. It's just be prepared. This is where you're going to be checked first of all. And if you can't go through unless you've got the right documentation, which is that boarding pass. It's boarding pass at this stage. It's not passport yet.
So
it's not passport. This is just purely to check that you are a valid traveller going to be leaving the airport in the next few hours, and that you've got access to the departure lounge as a consequence.
Me and Max just wanted to have a quick break and just say thank you very much for supporting the channel. Everything I do here at the moment is self-funded, so anything that you do to support me really is gratefully received. There's a number of ways you can do it. First of all, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Other ways, down in the description, you'll find a link to my Top Cashback. It's a referral link. It costs you nothing, but Top Cashback is a great way of saving you money when you buy things online. I always use it when I'm doing travel things. It's just a great way of getting some money back. You get something, I get something. Again, it doesn't cost you anything. Another way you can support me is through the Buy Me a Coffee. You can support me either one-off or with a monthly donation. Every penny I get goes to help fund my trips, create content, and carry this channel forward. So however you support me, whether it's subscribing, whether it's using the Top Cashback link, whether it's Buy Me a Coffee, thank you very much from me and from a Sleepy Max. Right, back to the video. Next stage is, we can't go through there with the camera, but that's then security. Big changes this year.
Big changes, and all for the good from the passenger's point of view, which is great. So all UK airports, by the end of June this year, will have had to introduce the latest generation security screening equipment. So we've put ours in during the winter, and what that means is that passengers no longer now have to take liquids out of their bag and their laptop out of the bag and their iPad out of the bag and put liquids of up to 100 ml into a little clear plastic bag of 20 centimetres by 20 metres. You can forget all of that. You still have a limit, so your liquids still are limited to 100 ml each, so that hasn't changed, but you can now leave everything in your hand luggage. So, you know, we've seen in the past people having to have 2 trays because they got one for the bag and another one then for the laptop or whatever. Makes it a lot easier for everybody. So yeah, that's from a passenger's point of view, and that'll be standard across all UK airports. Really good news.
And the bit I've learned is, if you've got your child, careful if they've got the shoes with the lights in them.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Because you still, you know, what I've talked about there is all about hand luggage, really.
Yeah.
What's your hand luggage? But again, as ever, you probably still have to take your coat off, and if you've got boots and things like that, then you'll probably be advised to take those off. So what we always say to people is just think in advance. Either think before you got to the airport about the process of going through, so you know what's in your hand luggage as well, because if we find things in that bag that should not be taken through, then that will cause you as an individual delay and have to take things out, etc. So it's just about preparedness. Just think carefully what's in that hand luggage, what you've got on you as an individual, if you like. And if you can prep in advance and take belts off and take your jacket off, ready so that it just smooths the process down, that's what we'll try and get people to do.
So leave everything in your bag, but it's still the 100 ml limit on the liquids.
Yeah.
When I came for a later video, you'll see when I went to Dublin, it was literally I was front door through to departures in minutes.
Yeah, and that's what we want. You know, it doesn't always work like that.
Yeah.
We can have technical issues with all this very high-tech kind of equipment, which, you know, can be completely unforeseen. But yeah, that's what we try and do here. We don't want you stood in a queue waiting to go through security. We want you through quickly and easily in the departure and waiting for your flight to depart.
So Robin, nice and busy, but it looks like everyone's sort of flowing through well enough. That's the point.
That's the whole point. You know, it's an area there's no shortcuts. You know, we've got to check everything and check people's bags, and if there's things we're not sure about, then it can slow it down for individuals. But yeah, that's what it's all about for us. It's about getting people through efficiently for us as quickly as you can, but whilst maintaining the levels of security that we've got to maintain.
Now, when I see this big sign here, I feel myself just okay. On holiday now almost.
Yeah, and that's what it's about for other people. Yeah. It's getting through security. That's it now. You can wait, relax. You know, whether it's a bite to eat, a drink at the bar, or a newspaper or a book or something, you just sit and relax, and you've kind of got through what is usually, or can certainly still be, the biggest pinch point of the whole kind of process of getting through an airport security. Because at the busy times, and we're still advising people, you know, don't leave it to the last minute. Yes, you should get through here really quickly, but at the busiest times, particularly first thing in the morning, on 7 days a week, this area will get very busy, and it will take longer because the sheer volume of passengers getting through. So don't ever leave it to the last minute, is still always our advice.
Let's have a walk through some of those bits you were talking about. But so is it still the sort of 2 hours?
Yeah, we say to passengers, 2 to 3 hours, and we've been working with our airline partners because some, for a while, only open check-in 2 hours before. So passengers who get here a little bit earlier can now check in up to 3 hours before departure. Certainly with all airlines before 8 a.m. For departures for 8 a.m. So that first wave, if you like. But most airlines then operate that throughout the rest of the day. So you do get here early, you want to relax in the departure lounge a little bit earlier, then you've got the ability to do so. And a lot of passengers, as you said before, we get through security, like, right, we can enjoy ourselves now, kind of thing. The worst is over almost in terms of where they may get some delays for people.
So in I don't know, do we call this the shopping area?
Yeah, it's the kind of one of the first retail areas, and it's a bit of a building site as well at the moment. This is where we've got the new Aspire Lounge going in. You can hear work going on behind the scenes as we speak. So yes, for a lot of passengers, this is their first kind of area. Every passenger has to come through here, and you've got a combination of the jobs in the duty free, some kind of retail outlets, and saying then this will be the new Aspire Lounge, which should be open in the next few months.
How important, if we carry on going through your business here, it's how important, I guess, are these kind of bits for the business of the airport?
Absolutely essential. If we didn't have these retail areas, and under that umbrella, yes, it's the duty-free area, but it's also a bar, it's a restaurant, it's a food area, it's a coffee shop. They all are absolutely critical income into the business. And not that long ago, certainly before the advent of the low-cost airlines, that wasn't quite the case, because airlines would charge passengers an awful lot more, and as an airport we would charge the airlines an awful lot more to cover our costs, basically. And that changed with low-cost travel, because what then happened was airlines wanted to charge passengers far less to encourage more people to be able to travel, which is great. But to do that, we all had to kind of come to the party, and that meant that we as an airport would charge them a lot less. Refuelling companies would probably charge them a lot less. The aircraft manufacturers would charge them a lot less. But the payback for us, therefore, was, and a lot of airlines were very upfront, is, look, don't think about charging us as much as you used to, but what we'll do, we'll bring you lots of passengers, and it's up to you as a business to understand how you're going to increase your revenue streams directly from the passenger, and that's what it's about. So the reasons people can now travel at some great fares is because all these extra bits of retail and other important commercial aspects, things like car parking, absolutely critical. The income that we get from that helps to cover the cost to run this business. Without it, it wouldn't operate. It's as simple as that, and that's why it's not just what happens here at Liverpool, whether it's Heathrow, Gatwick, Manchester, all airports are like shopping malls and big retail areas, because that income is what keeps the operation running, so that we can offset other costs, so that airlines can do what they need to do to make travel so affordable for a lot of passengers these days. So it's absolutely critical.
Right, so through duty free, what have we got going on?
Yeah, so this is where we've spent a lot of time and effort, big investment in the last 18 months with new facilities. So we've got the Sable & Co bar on the left hand side here, which is kind of high end, if you like, option for passengers. It's both a bar and it's obviously a food area, a restaurant area as well. And then down on the lower floor, we've got the new Kissing Gate, which is the main kind of bar area, but it's also a bit expanded now in terms of food area. It's had a big refurb. At the bottom there's a new Monty's American style diner gone in, which you've got all your pancakes and your waffles and goodness knows what else. So again, it's been a continual improvement. There's some new facilities, an expansion of facilities to cater for more passengers and to cater for different needs of different passengers.
The type of routes that you're flying from Liverpool, quite a few now, isn't there, let's be honest?
Yeah, I mean, we've got just over 70 destinations, and some of those will be winter only and some will be kind of summer only, but yeah, it's a great choice of destinations, and the vast majority are European flights, but in recent years we've ventured out to North Africa, to Egypt now as well. So yeah, growing portfolio, and there's a connection obviously by Dublin onto the US as well as a gateway into the US. So yeah, it's a growing portfolio of flights that passengers got that wider choice now to fly from there.
You've mentioned Dublin there, and that's coming up in the next video. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to go for a day trip. But actually, we say it's a flight to Dublin, it's 45 minutes, but actually, for yourselves, it's quite an important route, isn't it?
It is, because we've had flights to Dublin with Ryanair ever since this airport, well, certainly had a flight to Dublin probably ever since this airport has been going. And obviously in the last 30, 40 years been with Ryanair. Very popular, always has been. But what we've seen in the last few years is the introduction with Aer Lingus coming onto the route. And yes, it's another flight to Dublin, but as you say, it's more than that. It's a connection onwards to their US network. So you can now check in at Liverpool, go on the Aer Lingus flight, and connect through Dublin as an international passenger through US immigration, board a flight onto their network into the US, but then arrive as a domestic passenger, having already cleared all the immigration processes at Dublin Airport, which is a great way. It's a great way of doing it because you just avoid all that hassle, as we all know, of queuing up for a long time as you arrive into the US as an international passenger. So yeah, it's a really interesting route now, and one that we want to see more to develop in terms of the connectivity. There's only certain flights connect with it at the moment, and we're working with Aer Lingus to see how we can increase that connectivity. It's really important.
Robin, I want to say thank you for your time and showing me around, taking me through. Hopefully people have got a lot from this. I guess from here it's keep an eye on the board, make sure that you're at your gate in time.
Absolutely right. I think nearly all airports are these days. It's kind of silent airport process, if you like. So it's all about keep an eye on that departure screen. The only time you'll hear your name is when you're probably being told your bags are about to be offloaded because you've not got to the gate in time, effectively. So yeah, it's good. It's about just being very aware of you're in an airport environment, keep an eye on the screen, that's where the information is. When it says go to the gate, that's the time to go to the gate.
So big thanks to Robin for helping me with this video. Hopefully it's made your trip easier. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next journey.